My name is Nixon Van Calburn.
Right. My name's Callus Velazrin. Intrepid Traveler. Name, wee one.
Oh, Dara.
Hi, I'm Genevieve. That little goblin man was Edward.
Nice to meet you, Nixon. I'm Marini. Nice to meet you.
Flying to paradise as well.
No, we're going to take an acid trip with space whales.
Let's talk Dungeons & Dragons, or D&D. Dungeons & Dragons is a popular tabletop role-playing game that was created in the 1970s, where friends can get together and create collaborative stories through roleplay. A game will consist of two main components: the players, those who will create characters to go into the world, and the Dungeon Master, the person who will create the world and tell the story the players will participate in.
Nixon, remember Genevieve and Edward?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Roll
Yeah, do we
me
recognize-
history. Edward and Nixon, you two would remember each other.
Nixon's the first one to pop their head out, makes direct eye contact with Edward and goes, "You!"
Edward, you gotta be a little bit more specific with me, bud. Okay.
When we were at the carnival.
Games can be a single story, called a one-shot, or multiple stories, or arcs, that come together in a larger plot, called a campaign. The settings of these games can range from high fantasy to Percy Jackson to Star Wars. Players can design their characters using a variety of races
You're playing a fucking space elf.
and classes, each having special characteristics as well. They can create their own backstories and moral compasses. Games can be held online or in person. Side effects of playing D&D include living in a fantasy world, having too much fun with friends, and buying too much dice. D&D has a long history of encouraging community and creativity. What made the game great wasn't the game itself, but the people who played it. For a number of years, Wizards of the Coast, or wotc, the company that owned D&D, allowed for third-party content creation to happen through their Open Gaming License, or OGL for short. This allowed for D&D to expand and grow immensely, as well as create livelihoods for a large number of people. The OGL paved the way for popular D&D streamers, such as Critical Role, or Dimension 20 in recent years. In 1999, wotc was purchased by a larger company, Hasbro, for $325 million US. In January of 2023, news that wotc was creating a new OGL was leaked. In the leaks, it was disclosed that wotc would essentially get rid of allowing any third-party content creation to freely happen. Any content creator using anything related to D&D, including streams, dice, or books, could have their content taken by wotc or be forced to shut down their own business. If businesses made over a threshold of money, they were needed to give wotc 10% of their payout. This went against what D&D was built on, and the community rightfully were outraged. Despite this outrage, wotc was silent on Twitter for an entire week. Many suspected that wotc and Hasbro saw the amount of money that was being earned by Critical Role, to whom they have a partnership with, which is as much as $10 million a year, and wanted a larger percentage of the profits. Thus, they decided to make the new OGL, where wotc was the only place where you could get D&D materials. Outraged, the community banded together, stating that the company was out of touch with its demographic. To kickstart change, the community conducted a mass cancellation of their subscription service to D&D Beyond, the company's website, citing that losing money will be the only thing that gets the company to listen. Within a matter of weeks, the protests and cancellations brought a conclusion to the OGL conflict. In the end, wotc decided to release a survey to get feedback on what the D&D community wanted out of the new OGL. There was an overwhelming number of answers saying to just keep the old OGL. In the end, WotC released a statement on January 27th, 2023, stating that they will not be making any changes to the OGL. And further, will be placing everything under a Creative Commons license, which will ensure that it will not be altered in the future. Further, they stated that they understand that they broke the community's trust, and that it will take time to earn it back, however they will strive to do so. The D&D community is a shining example that together communities can rise up against corrupt companies and make change in their communities.